So welcome everyone. If you see in the chat, just put where you're from. One interesting thing, if you follow us, ASHRAE on X, they just had a meeting in Ghana and they posted some interesting pictures that Dennis Knight was in Ghana, I think yesterday, the day before. So kind of interesting news that there's a new chapter in Ghana and they showed some really impressive pictures of the first one of the first meetings they had there. So today, Karine's going to be talking about from classroom to career, thriving as a young engineer. So it's going to be really useful for everyone, even if you've been in the industry a long time. I'm sure there's tips of pointers you can get to always improve your careers. A little bit about Karine. She's a published author, international speaker, and passionate about simplifying HVAC and innovative designs. She works for Daikin Applied, and she graduated. She has an engineering degree from École Technique Supérieure in Quebec, and also some other just impressive educational awards. So with that, Karine, I'll give you the floor, and thanks for coming to help speak with us today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justin. I really appreciate it. So let me start by sharing my screen. If you have not written already in the chat, please tell me where you're from, where you're calling from. I would love to see that. That would be great. And you guys can still my screen, right? You don't see anything else?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, we see the top
awesome.
browser. I don't know if that's important, but we see the
no,
browser.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Cool. Awesome. So welcome, everyone. We have 24 people. I would like to start by letting you know that I have a gift for you. So if you stay until the end of this presentation, you will have access to my gift. And I'm not letting you know now what it is, but I'll mention it to you at the end, but it's worthwhile. And also, I wanted to let you know that we're going to do something fun because we're going to do a quiz at the end as well. So what does that mean? That means that you will have to pay attention. Yes, a quiz. And the winner of the quiz will get a free ebook from me. I say ebook because I don't know where you're located. So if you're around the world, it will be very difficult for me to mail a book. So you will get a free copy of my ebook for the winner. So this is how I wanted to start. And then here we go. Let's talk about going from a student to your career. So this is a picture of me when I was actually in engineering school. That was my second internship. And I just got that from a colleague or an old colleague that sent it to me. And I was like, oh my God, I need to share that with everyone. So why I'm sharing that photo is because I wanted to point out that I was just in your shoes, right? I went through what you're going through right now. And this was a second internship in our university. We had to do 3 internships. So I'm originally French Canadian from Quebec City. This was in Montreal. This is where I went to school. And then I got an internship for my last one to go to where? To California. So the only goal, the only reason why I went to California is because I needed to learn English. So I started from like a small town, right? Then I went to study in Montreal, which was a bigger city. And then I made it all the way to California. And here's another picture of during my first job when I was with my colleague Frank. So that was when I just moved in, super proud, super young, but I did it. And I'm going to share with you some tips that helped me succeed. And if I had to do it all over again, what I would change. So I'm going to try to help you with this. So I'm going to go through 7 points. The first one is what no one tells you about starting your career. This is very important. I wanted to start with this because what you don't really think about when you're at school is that the only thing your focus is about, like, succeeding, have like high grades, and make sure that you pass all your class and you're at the top of your class. But the thing is, you won't use all those equations, but you will use every human skills. So I wanted to point this out because don't only focus on your GPA and your grades. Also make sure that when you're at school that you focus on the networking and the communicating and also on your mindset, because your mindset is your most powerful tool. When I talk about mindset is your, self-esteem, or if you have any limiting belief, all of this will have a play when you start working. So I like to say that technical skills are super important, right? We're engineers, or we're going to become engineers, and we need to make sure that people are safe. But you also need the human skills. And when you have both of them, this is where the magic happen, when you have both. So I'm here to remind you that yes, technical skills are important, but not to forget to the human skills. Everything that has to do with relationship, with collaboration, with communication. Because it doesn't matter how smart you are if nobody wants to work with you. And it doesn't matter how technical you are if nobody wants to work with you. And if you work in sales, it doesn't really matter what you sell if nobody wants to buy from you. Okay, so super, super important that you know that when you're at school. So when you start working, you already know the importance of the soft skills, the human skills, the people skills, the social skills. So the next slide is a picture of me on the left side with my dad. My dad is an HVAC professor, and this was at an ASHRAE show 2004, I believe. And then I put the picture on the right here with the CEO and the CFO of my first company, the company who welcomed me for my internship. And why I put the photo on the right side is because I'm holding a plaque. And that plaque shows 15 years of service. So I put those two pictures because I want to show you that the before, there is 15 years difference between the Karine on the left and the Karine on the right. And I wanted to show you this slide because when I started in the industry, I didn't really know the importance of human skills, soft skills, emotional intelligence, communication, right? I was really focused about the technical aspect and how to get better, about how to learn, how to do the specs and all of those little technical, the specs. But I forgot that when you lack the emotional intelligence, when you lack the people skills, then it's hard to work with other people. So I noticed that when I was younger, my mentor, Mike, sat down with me and he said, Karine, what's going on with you? And I was like, I don't know, nothing. And he said, well, since I know you, you used to be so bubbly and fun, and now you're always mad. And I was like, am I always mad? Like, I was so surprised, right? And so what happened is I had changed. I had changed from my first 2 years of working in the industry because I forgot that the people skills, right? I forgot those soft skills. I forgot the communication, the emotional intelligence. And then I only focus on getting the job done, on being the best. And I did it no matter what, right? I did it maybe with more an aggressive tone, maybe more with a lack of empathy, maybe with a lack of self-awareness. But then when he told me that, I actually took the feedback and I started changing. So I started reading, I started educating myself, I started investing in myself. And then 15 years later, I'm a completely different person. So I like to call that the Karine version 1 and the Karine version 2. So why am I telling you that is because you have a chance that maybe you don't have to have the version 1, right? You can start the school and already know the importance of focusing on human skills, soft skills, and emotional intelligence. So the point number 2 is the top 5 skills that you actually use, right? So besides all your math, your science, the dynamic, the statics, or whatever HVAC you're going to use, the top 5 skills you actually use are emotional intelligence for sure. Emotional intelligence is not always being nice or not always being happy. Emotional intelligence is basically knowing when emotions show up, right? Because you're going to have days that you're under pressure, you're going to be stressed. So knowing when those emotions show up, and when they show up, what to do with them. So when do we start, like for me, the Karine version 1, I didn't really know how to deal with that. The emotion would show up and it would come out, right? I would be reactive instead of responsive. So this is very, very important, emotional intelligence. You need to understand how you feel, right? You need to be self-aware. And after you understood, how you can manage your emotions. And not only with you, but with others, because you're going to work in team, right? The HVAC industry is all about working in a team. So you're going to work with the plumbing department, with the structural engineer, with the architect, with the owner, with the contractor, with the general contractor. You're going to have a lot of people you're going to work with. So it's also very important to have those social skills, social awareness to see how people are doing and how to manage your relationship with them. So this is the definition of emotional intelligence. It's basically how you show up, because how you show up will impact how people feel, and how they feel will also impact how they are engaged. The second one is communication. Communication is a big deal, right? So why do you think I put the photo on the gentleman on the right side? The reason is because I did a presentation in Portugal for students. It was 4-day intensive, 2 presentations per day for students at school. And the number one complaint that I heard from the industry leader, right, the people that hire those students from school, was that, Karine, the students, they graduate and they're so smart. They're so capable. They're so technical. We're so proud of them. But then they start working, and the first thing they do is they put those headphones on their head, and then they don't talk. They don't communicate. We can barely talk to them. We feel like we disturb them, right? So the communication is so important, which is why in my presentation that I did for all the students was about emotional intelligence, right? And communication. So if you want to succeed, if you want to make it and make a difference, communication is a big deal. Number 3 is teamwork, right? We have a tendency, especially when we start, right? We have like a big ego. We want to show that we know, right? And that was my case. I'm not sure about you, but that was my case. So it was difficult to ask for help. I thought that if I ask for help, that would say that I don't know the answer or that I'm weak, and I didn't want to show that. So I had a tendency to work alone and not in a team. But now if I go back, if I had a chance to go back, I would not be afraid of asking questions, even if I was supposed to know already the answer, right? And I would not be afraid to work in team and say, hey, I need help, or let's do that together, right? Instead of just me, me, me. So this is something I would absolutely change. The number 4 is adaptability, right? This is very important. You're going to have to adapt. And a lot of us don't like change, right? Engineers typically have that, they're very detail oriented. I'm not talking about everybody, but in general, we are very detail oriented. We don't like change. We are very analytical. So when somebody comes in and they're like, well, we're going to change the system, or from now on, we're going to do it this way, we're like, whoa, right? It's like we have a tendency maybe to freak out, or being like, we don't like this, we liked it before. So it's very important to adapt. So that would be my number 4. And the last point would be self-leadership. So if you aspire to become a manager one day, or a director, or a CEO, right? Before you can lead others, you need to make sure that you can lead yourself, right? This is a rule number 1. If you cannot lead yourself, if you're not disciplined, if you're not consistent, if you cannot manage your emotion, if you have a hard time communicate, if you react under pressure, well, that's going to be hard to lead others because you cannot lead yourself, right? So what are your habits? What do you do about yourself to become better, to grow? So that would be my five points. Then number 3 would be the power of internship. So I would like to do a little check here in the chat. Tell me in the chat if you have had, if you have a chance to go to an internship or not. Yes or no? Do you have opportunities to do internship? So Asif said yes. Yafet, Joel said yes. Not yet, ma'am. Christopher said no. Frank, yes, I have. Ernest says no. Ako Reddy says yes. Okay, perfect. So for me, I believe there is a real power in internships. So in our school in Montreal, you had to do 3 internships, 1 per year of school, and you could not do them back to back. It had to be 1 per year. And if I had to give you an advice for internship is to speak up and be bold. So you cannot expect people to read your mind, right? So if you want to do something, people cannot guess that this is what you want to do. So I give you an example. For my second internship, for the photo that you saw, it was my last day for my internship, and we all went for lunch with all my colleagues at that time. And during lunch, I just mentioned very loud, very bold, I said, my dream is to go to United States so I can learn English. That's it. Well, guess what? One of the colleagues that I work with was like, oh, I didn't know that, Karine. Well, guess what? I have a brother-in-law that lives in California, and maybe I can connect you with him. And I said, okay. And I never thought he would do it, right? And I didn't really put my hopes up regarding this. But that same week, I received an email, and he was introducing me to his brother-in-law in California. And it just so happened that his brother-in-law was looking for somebody, an inside sales. So the timing was just perfect. But think about it. If I had not said that my dream was to go to United States to speak English, I would have never had this opportunity because nobody can read my mind, right? And it's not, if I tell my friends that are students with me, it can help. But really the timing was to do it with people that actually work with me, that know people, right? So that's my number 1 point for internship, right? To speak up, to be bold, not expect people to read your mind. The second one is to make your goal public, right? So if you're having an internship, let's say you are in an internship, mention what you want to do, right? My goal is to become a manager. My goal is to design sustainability. My goal is to travel, right? What is your goal? Again, they cannot guess. And if you don't have that internship yet, well, when you go interview, right, just again, speak up, make your goal public, say what you want. Just like when people say that they want to run a marathon. How many of you know a friend that run a marathon? Right? It's like we all have one friend that talks about it and say, I'm going to run a marathon, right? They make their goal public. The last one is to do it afraid. So I say that because sometimes we have a tendency to want to have everything perfectly before we go, right? So we're a little afraid, why we're not sure, and we don't want to do it because we're not ready. We don't know enough. So I give you an example. When I went to California to do my internship, that was to learn English. Well, guess what? I didn't speak English. I knew the basic, right? The yes, no, how are you? How old are you? Right? The basic. But I did it afraid because nothing could stop me, right? I wanted to do it. And if I don't do it afraid, I may have missed this opportunity. I may have not grown, right? So that's super important. Don't wait until like you're comfortable. Just do it afraid. Next point, number 4. Number 4 is design your career like an engineer. So what do I mean by that? This is super, super important. The more you know about yourself, the better it is. And why I say that is because if you don't know about yourself, you may end up doing a job that you don't like. Or you may end up working for a company that you're not a right fit. Because you're not looking at yourself. You're not looking in the mirror to see, what do I like? What are my strengths? What are my limitations? Okay, so it's super important to invest in yourself and to actually sit down and see like, okay, what am I good at? Am I good doing research or I'm good at doing sales? So for example, I don't like to do the research. I don't like detail-oriented work. What I like is to see people, to find solutions, to network, to do presentation, public speaking. But then I had friends that like, oh my God, they would rather die than having to speak in public, right? They want to be by themselves. They don't want, they're introvert. They want to work with maybe a 2-3 people team, right? So there's different kind of personalities. There's different kind of strength and limitation. And like my first internship was in design and I didn't like it. I was almost thinking about quitting engineering because I was like, oh my God, this is boring. I don't like this. This is not me, right? That was my day were so long. I was not happy. And then I decided to just keep going, right? Because my mom and my dad taught me that I should not quit when I start something. And then guess what? My second internship, I got a job or an internship in sales. And this is when I realized, oh, there's more than just doing detail work, design work. There is also sales. And there is maybe project management. And maybe there is manager. And maybe there is going on a job site, right? There's so many things you can do. But if you don't know yourself, you don't know what you like, what you're good at, what you don't like, your limitation, then it will be harder for you and it may take you more time to find the good fit. And then you may be unhappy and think that you don't like the HVAC or the HVAC, right? You may think, oh, I'm in the wrong side. But I'm guarantee you that there is a right fit for you. You just need to know who you are. Okay, so that's a number 1. Know your strength and limitation. Practice self-awareness, right? Know your trigger. That's important because when you work in a team, you need to know what makes you happy and what makes you unhappy. And I'm going to show it to you on the next slide. And the last point is, again, typically engineers were very analytical, very data-driven, were perfectionists, okay? So since we're perfectionists, we may wait until it's perfect. And then I would encourage you that it's better done than perfect. And I have another author that says, better now, better later. Okay, so don't wait. That's kind of the same point that I mentioned earlier, like do it afraid, right? So it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to know everything before you apply for a job, for an internship, for a career promotion, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to learn it. You're going to get better. So I like to say, for me, spread your wings on the way down. Okay, you can write this down. Spread your wings on the way down. And when you get that job, just go, right? Just go in the air and spread your wings on the way down. So now let me tell you a little bit about the triggers. So these are triggers of pleasant emotions. So these are, I use a personality assessment. There is many of them, but the one I prefer is the DISC. So D is for dominant, I is for influencers, S is for steady, and C is for compliant. So the typically, like when I do this assessment with engineers, probably 90% of everyone is in that corner here, the blue one. So the compliant. So if I ask you, right, we are a combination of all four personality, but we have one dominant. So if I were to ask you, what are the typical triggers of pleasant emotion for you, reading those, what would it be? So write in the chat, which one would that be, if you want to share with me? Getting things right, Justin. Yes, see, that's the C. Getting things right as if, yep. What makes you happy? What's a pleasant emotion for you? Good procedure, being right. Decisive action. Okay, Elizabeth, I love it. You're D. Isabella is a I. Okay. Prene was a I. Faisal is helping corporation, so probably like a S. Yep. Swapnil is a I. So collaboration, recognition, friendliness, group activities. Okay. Anybody else? S. Christopher S. Okay. Managing time, getting the task done. Mazuf S. Ernest S. Ayman S. Powerful. Yapet C. Odeleye D. Okay, getting things right, Omar. So you see, we have like a mix of different, right? Different personality. This is very important because when you work in a team, you will work with people with different trigger. So these are the triggers of your pleasant emotion. Now, let me show you the one for unpleasant. This is a very important one because this is what's gonna, when you're under pressure, maybe this is what's gonna come out. So for what you told me, like for example, Omar said getting things right. But a trigger for unpleasant emotion for Omar can be also being wrong or being criticized or fake people or that are not accurate or being looked over for expertise. So these can be trigger of unpleasant emotion. So it's very important to know that as a student. So when you start working, you already know yourself. You know your trigger. And for me, it can be something else than somebody else. So when you see a colleague reacting to something and you wonder, why are they reacting? This is nothing. Well, for them, it may be very important because they're different personalities. So now on the next slide, these are the typical reaction to those triggers. So usually when you get triggered, you become, let's look at the C again, you can become overly analytical, or you can become picky or stuffy, or you can become critical or judgmental or defensive, right? So according to your dominant style, that may be your reaction. So this is why it's very important that when you start in the working environment, right? When you get your career, that you do the work on self-awareness, who you are, what's your personality. Now I'm going to move to the point number 5. Growth doesn't just happen. Very, very, very important. So when you get a job, right? When you start working, what's your plan? Right? What do you want to do? Are you just going to go to work every day and do your work and leave and that's it? What's your plan? It can be that's it, right? Maybe this is what you want. But if this is what you want, it needs to be clear. I want to maintain my work or I want to improve. I want to be the expert in sustainability. I want to be the expert in decarbonization. I want to do energy modeling only. I want to do project management. I want to become the CEO of a company. I want to start my own company, right? What's your plan? What's your plan to grow? So this is important because we have a tendency to start a job and kind of sit there and wait, right? And then people tell us that you cannot become a manager because you're new. Well, says who, right? You cannot become a project manager because you only have 2 years of experience. Well, says who? If you do the work, if you grow, if you plan, you learn, you practice, you get experience, why not? So are you intentional about your growth? I put Ricardo there because that's a young engineer that started working. It's his first year. Okay, he graduated. He's starting for an engineering company. And guess what? He reached out to me and he said, Karine, would you mentor me? I'm lost. I don't know how to grow. I just know that I want to da 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 da, right? He gave me his vision. He gave me his goal, but he needs help. So guess what? I'm mentoring him. We spent time together. We started doing a personality assessment. We have discussion, right? But he was very intentional. He reached out for help, right? So that was his way of being intentional about growth. He just didn't sit down and wait for things to fall from the sky, right? And then the third point is, are you setting up big goals? Are you just hoping? Are you just hoping you're going to get a promotion? Are you just hoping that you're going to get a raise? Are you just hoping you're going to get to work with that group or for that manager or that project manager? So it's super important to not only set goals, but big goals. So when you set up goals, half of them should always have 50% chance of failing. So therefore you dream big and there's no surprise if you fail. So I know personally that one of my limiting beliefs is being afraid of failing. So I would be a little bit more careful because I don't want to fail. But if you know that 50% of your goal may have a chance of failing, then no surprise, right? It's okay. So you can reach for the star. You can reach to work for that biggest company. You can ask to work on the biggest project. You can ask to go on to attend meetings that you're not supposed to, right? So you just go for it. And I put an app here on the left side. I'm going to put it in the chat. If you look at the App Store, it's called Habit. And this is how the logo looks. I don't get any money for that. I'm just trying to help you. I use it on my phone. And every day I look at it and I make sure that I fill out or I insert all the habit that I'm trying to track. So I have it right now on my phone. I can tell you what I wrote for me. So I wrote, read or listen to a book. Do my gratitude journal every day. Did I learn today? Did I self-improve? Did I send a thank you card? Did I read the news? Did I review today, right? Did I do my 10,000 steps? Did I listen to a podcast? And did I sleep early? So every day I go to my habit app and I say, did I do that or not? So it kind of helps you build habit. It's kind of a gentle reminder so you can get better. So you can, per your goal that you're setting up, you can put the habit according to that to kind of help you out. And the way I write my goals, I wanted to share it with you. It's not the only way, there's many ways, but I'm just sharing with you my own. Yeah, it's called the Habit Tracker in the App Store. Correct, Asif. So the way I like to write my goals is, first of all, I need to put a deadline, right? A date. By that date, then I say what I want to do, right? By that date, I would like to become a project manager. Okay. Why does this goal matters to you? The why is super important. You need to have a good reason. So it's an internal motivation, not an external motivation, right? So you want to look inside and why does this goal matter to you? And then I find goal partners that will do the same goal as me. So I'm going to hang out with the people that, for example, in a company, if they want to become manager or if they want to lead their own project, right? They want to have their own project. Well, I'm going to hang out with the superstar that also want that so I can get better. We can exchange. I want to hang out with the people that have the same common goal. And then after that, I put some milestone, right? And I also add celebration. So when I reach that goal, what am I going to do to celebrate? So it's good for me to tell me, hey, okay, I reached that. Therefore, I'm going to go to dinner to that nice restaurant that I like. I'm going to buy those shoes that I've been wanting. So it's like a reward process. And then I also write, well, what will be the daily sacrifice, right? It may need that I'm gonna have to work longer hours when I don't feel like it. It may mean that I'm gonna have to wake up early and I'm not a morning person. It may mean that I'm gonna have to do a lot of reading and I don't like to read, right? So all of these daily sacrifice, once you know it, it will make it easy. So this is mine, right? There's different way of doing it, but that's what works for me. The point number 6, well, almost done, is finding mentors and be coachable. So let me introduce you to my mentor. So this is again when I was super young, right? I think it's 2003 or 4, something like that. And this is Sammy. This is my mentor. He's still my mentor right now. He's 72 right now. And I worked with him for 21 years. And when I started working for him, I basically asked him, I said, hey, Sammy, can we go lunch once a week? And can you mentor me? I actually asked him. And what he told me, he was like, Karine, sure, no problem, right? I have no problem. And why I asked him to go to lunch is because I wanted to discuss on the personal level. At work, it was always busy. Everybody was asking him questions. The phone was always ringing. I couldn't have his attention. So on Friday, we're all going to work, right? We're at the office. He has to eat. I have to eat. Let's just go to lunch. And then I would discuss with him question, what I'm looking for. I would pick his brain, what worked for you, right? All of these to kind of like learn from the best because he had a very good reputation. He was very successful. Everybody loved him. So I really wanted to be like him. So I would encourage you to find a mentor. And by the way, mentors don't have to be official, right? I did ask him if he would be my mentor, but you don't have to. You can just look up for somebody and you can just try to pick their brain, see them, ask them question. And he told me, Karine, I will mentor you, but there is one rule. And his rule was, I don't like to repeat myself. If you're gonna be under my wing, I want you to take it seriously. And then, you know what I did is I took a big book, right? And every time he would teach me something, I would write it down. So I didn't have to ask again. And I remember one time I said, Sammy, I'm so sorry. I know you told me that, but I forgot, right? It's like, or I didn't have my book or something. And he started laughing because, I was trying very, very hard to be a good mentor, had always very clear question and very intentional question because I don't want to waste his time, right? He's busy and he's high up. So yeah, finding a mentor is super important, but guess what? You need to be coachable to have a mentor, right? Even without a mentor, you need to be coachable. I have worked with young engineer and every time I would say something, they were like, oh, I know. Oh, I know. Okay. Fine, right? So that person was not coachable. So to be coachable, it takes humility and also curiosity. So you need to leave your ego on the side, right? So I know that when we finish school, we're all like on fire and we think we know a lot. That was me. But then you have to put that on the side and just be coachable, be willing to learn from others. And the last point on this is to seek feedback. Feedback is so, so, so important. When my mentor, Mike, because I had two mentors, I had Sammy and Mike, when Mike told me, hey, Karine, what's going on with you? Right? If I didn't take that feedback well, I would have never changed. Okay. So when you take feedback, you need to take it well. And of course, it's not from everybody, right? You don't take feedback from people you don't respect and that they're not, worthy of giving you feedback. But think about it. Somebody giving you feedback, it's fuel, right? It's free. And you can decide what you want to do with it or not. So for the people that you really respect, when they give you feedback, take it well. It's super, super important. And my last point, the most important one, is why ASHRAE matters. Okay, so let me show you a couple photos from my ASHRAE journey. So in 2006, 2007, I became the ASHRAE secretary of my chapter. It was ASHRAE Southern California. Then in 2007, 2008, I became the treasurer. So you see here the whole gang, and that was me with the old banner. And then 2008, 2009, I became president-elect. This was again at the installation dinner here with Michael. And finally, in 2009, 2010, I became president of the chapter. So this was the installation dinner. And I have to say that I would never be the person I am today without ASHRAE. Okay. When I moved from Quebec to Los Angeles, I didn't speak English, I didn't have any friends, and I didn't have any family. So what do you guys think I did? What do you guys and girls think that I did? The first thing when I moved to California, when I moved to Los Angeles, I joined the ASHRAE Southern California chapter. Yes. And these people became my community. They became my friends. They became my colleague. They became my family, right? So I will always be grateful for ASHRAE in my life. I would never, ever be the person I am today without ASHRAE. And one thing that ASHRAE really helped me is it helped me with leadership skills. Because I work in sales, and working in sales, I don't have to lead necessarily people, right? I don't have people that reports to me. And what were my chances or my opportunity to lead other people? Well, ASHRAE gave me that opportunity. And let me tell you, it's very easy to have people follow you when they're paid, right? At work, they have to follow you, they're paid to follow you. But now try to lead volunteers like ASHRAE. That's a whole different ball game. People don't have to follow you. They're volunteers. So when you learn how to lead volunteers, which ASHRAE give you the opportunity to do that, then you become an even better leader at work. So ASHRAE taught me how to become a better leader, how to become a better public speaker, how to network, right? Because a network is opportunities. Every time you network, every time you meet new people, you never know. It may be an opportunity for a job. It may be an opportunity for a project. Maybe it's an opportunity for a collaboration, teamwork, pick somebody's brain, somebody sharing problems, right? Networking is so important. It's like That would be the number one for me, because you never know who you're going to meet and the timing of everything. So ASHRAE gave me the opportunity to network, to improve my leadership. And also, I would say, when you graduate, if you're not, when you graduate, a lot of people just leave ASHRAE, right? They've been an ASHRAE student and then they start working and they don't have time suddenly. Well, I would encourage you to stay involved after graduation, because you never know, right? You never know what's going to happen. You never know, are you going to need a new job? Are you going to be unhappy? Um, Also, when you stay involved after graduation, is you want to keep learning your skills. So every time you show up at the meetings, you get to learn technical skills, but also the networking and people skills. So you get to learn both of them, just how I started my presentation. You get to work on your technical and your human skills. And make sure you don't burn bridges, because it's a small, small world, the HVAC world, and you never know who you're going to be working with. So just be careful. So in conclusion, I have my last and most important advice for everyone, for all the students, is drum roll. Don't stay in your comfort zone. So if I ask you, what's the purpose of a rubber band? Right? If I look at a rubber band, this one is very small, but it's a rubber band. And a rubber band, its purpose, or it's actually working, its job is to hold people to hold things together, right? So when it's not extended, when it's not stretched, it's useless, right? Right now it's useless. It doesn't do nothing. But when I stretch it, this is when it's actually being used, right? This is when it has a purpose. Well, we are the same thing as a rubber band. When we don't stretch ourselves, when we stay in our small little comfort zone, we're not growing, right? We don't have that purpose. We're not reaching our potential. But when you step out of your comfort zone, when you stretch yourself, then this is when you start reaching your potential. This is when you grow. This is when you can attain your goal. And comfort zone is, like it said, we're very comfortable, right? It's hard to get out of it because it's comfortable, right? But don't be afraid to push and go for it. This is so, so, so important. This is how you're going to grow. So in the chat, I would like to ask you, how many of you thought that these 7 points were valuable? If you can put yes or no. Justin said yes. They were extremely valuable. Thank you so much. Yes, so much. Yes, yes. Elizabeth says yes. Moses, yes. Isabel says absolutely. Ernest says yes. We. Okay, yes, yes, very definitely. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I have a favor to ask you. Before we do the quiz, because we're going to do the quiz and we're going to have a winner. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a game. Before we do the quiz, I would like you to scan that QR code. And when you scan that QR code, I'm going to give you my gift. And my gift is that I'm going to give you a list of books that I would recommend you get or you read according to the 7 points that I spoke about. Okay? So scan that QR code. It's very quick. There is, I think, 6 questions, yes, no, yes, no. And then when they ask you to enter the code, put student, and then you will have a PDF of the books that I recommend you read to improve and grow your journey. So I'm going to put some music for 2 minutes, and we're going to do the quiz very quick. And I'm going to start now. 30 seconds. Okay. So are you okay? Do you guys need more time or we can go with the quiz? Put it in the chat. Ready or not? Done? Ready? Good to go? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Yay. Let's go with the game. So, time for a quiz. I'm going to ask you to use your cell phone. If you don't have your cell phone, you can just go. Oh, I don't have it there. I guess it's going to be QR code. So, cell phone, you're going to scan that QR code, and we're going to check on your knowledge from what you learned today. So when you scan the QR code and you're in, there's a little thumbs up. Just click on the thumbs up so I know you're in. We should have at least 39 people. 39 thumbs up. If you need help, just put it in the chat. I can help you. Okay, we have 16 people. Maybe the other people are not, they checked out. Okay, 17. Okay, well, let's go with 17. 18. I think I'm going to have that QR code again. So what did you learn from today's presentation? So I'm going to go through quick fire question to see what you understood. Okay, and don't worry, it's just for fun. So how it works is you're going to have 15 seconds to answer. Okay, so it's pretty fast. If you're on your computer and you don't have your cell phone, you can go to menti.com and you can enter the code here. So you have a choice. And guess what? The fastest to answer get extra point. Okay, so be very quick on your fingers because the fastest get more points. And like I mentioned, the winner will get a copy of my book, an ebook, and I will send it to you for free as a gift. So everybody's ready, hopefully. And I think on the next slide, you're going to have a chance to write your name. So write your name because we're going to have a leaderboard. We're going to have a leaderboard and we're going to know who gets it or not. So it looks like there's 13 questions. Man, I didn't realize there was so many. So, but we have time because we have another 30 minutes. So, but I'm going to finish that earlier. Okay, we have 22 players ready. Ready or not, let's go. Okay, Frank, you say some of us are only on one device now, so you can scan. Let me copy this in here. Click that on your computer. That's the code. So you can go there. So for the people that don't have the scan, they can just click on that number. Okay, let's go. Okay, everyone has voted. Okay, everybody got it right. Good job, everyone. So the answer was communication. So now let's look on the leaderboard who was the fastest. Ooh, it's tight. We have a fastest one? Why is it doesn't show the fastest one? Huh, interesting. So everybody's equal. Geez, okay, that's weird. Okay, question number 2. Okay, yes, we got it. Mindset is the most powerful tools you bring to your job. I don't think I put the fastest in there. Does it show? Yeah, fastest, Mira. Mira was the fastest. Woohoo! It's very tight, only 3 points from the first and second. Okay. Next question. That's a tougher one. Why is it important to speak up early in your career? Because no one is a mind reader. Yes, but the only way you get promoted, maybe not the only way, right? So it could have been, it's one way to get promoted. So then this was better answer. Let's see here. Who was the fastest? Myra again. Mira or Myra, I don't know how to say it. This is good. Good job, everyone. Question 4. Yes. Awesome. Take action even when you're scared. Ooh, Isabella was the fastest on that one. Watch out. Only 1 point difference for the top two. Good job, everyone. Question 5. Yes, Excel mastery. Yes. Oh, Max was the fastest on that one. Good job, Max. Question 6. Yes, navigate relationship and work dynamics. Very good, everyone. James was the fastest on this one. Watch out, watch out. He's climbing. Question 7. Better done than perfect. Everybody got it. Good job, everyone. James was the fastest again. Watch out, Isabella is climbing. Question 8. To know your strengths and triggers, correct. We spent some time on this. Ruzy's the fastest, Wheezy. Question 9, almost done. Yay, setting intentional goals. Everybody got it. Good job, everyone. Isabella was the fastest on that one. Okay, watch out. Question 10. Ooh, all over on that one. It was half. That was a slide that I talk about according to Google. This is what they say that we should have. So the question was half. I think things are going to change now. Oh ho ho! Max was the fastest. Ooh, things are changing. Question 11, almost done. Yeah, showing humility and curiosity. Yes. Be humble, be curious. Good job. Max was the fastest. Oh, we have a new leader. Max is the leader now. Watch out. 2 more. Start asking for advice. Correct. Oh, Max is still the leader. Okay, I believe this is the last question. Okay, let's see who's gonna win. Woohoo! Everybody got it. This is awesome. Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Let's see. And the winner is Max. Good job. Good job, Max. Okay. We can all applaud. I'm going to stop sharing. Max, if you can, how can I get your information? Maybe you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I can put my LinkedIn profile in there, no problem. So thank you so much for coming. And this is my LinkedIn. Let me share the screen again. So you guys, if you want to connect with me and you want to ask me question, and Max, you're gonna do that. That's awesome. Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Karine, I follow you on LinkedIn, and I find you always post relevant stuff and interesting stuff you're doing. So yeah, thanks today
thank you
for the
so much.
presentation.
Thank you so
And I
much.
think
Is
with-
anybody has any questions, or you're good? You can always like message me the question. It's no problem. No, thank you so much. What's the third point? The third point. Congratulations, Max. Kindly share your LinkedIn so we can work. Yes. The LinkedIn is on the slide that I'm sharing right now. I can put it in the chat if you want. People asking for the link. It's funny. Let's hold on. I think it's linkedin.com/ what was the slash after that? Hold on. You can scan the code, or hold on.
I got it. I just put it in time.
Oh, thank you so much. Somebody's helping me out. Thank you,
Thanks,
Elizabeth.
No worries.
Well, thank you so much for joining. And if you have any question, you can send it to me through LinkedIn. And that's pretty much it. You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you so
everybody.
much. Bye.